Welcome to the Selling from the Heart podcast on the From the Heart Business Network. You've joined a global movement of sales professionals who are dedicated to being authentic and building trust. We call it Selling from the Heart. Together, we're on a mission to bring sincerity and substance to the sales profession we all love. Get ready to be inspired and equipped as we join our hosts, Larry Levine and Darrell Amy.
Does your CEO value trust and authenticity as a foundation of your company culture? If so, they'll love my award-winning book, Selling in a Post-Trust World.
This powerful book dives into the principles of authentic leadership, showing how trust and meaningful relationships can drive real results. It's a must-read for leaders who prioritize people, connection, and culture.
Now, you can send your CEO a free copy of this game-changing book. It's simple, free, and the perfect way to celebrate a leader who leads with heart.
So visit ceo.sellingfromtheheart.net and we'll send a free copy of the book to your CEO today. That's ceo.sellingfromtheheart.net. Because leaders who value trust will embrace this book and take your company's culture to the next level. Hello and welcome back to the Selling from the Heart podcast. Your co-host, Darrell Amy, here today with Larry Levine. What's going on, Larry?
Hey, what isn't going on? There is so much stuff happening here at Selling from the Heart. But you know what, Darrell? I'm really excited for our guest today.
Hey, get ready for some firm feedback. This is going to be one you want to take some notes in. We're so excited. We told you we're going to keep it hot all summer. The weather was hot. Things were hot here at Selling from the Heart. And one of the things we love to do at the beginning of every episode is give a shout out to one of our friends in the Selling from the Heart community around the world.
Yeah, just a huge shout out to a gentleman by the name of Greg Sneethrin. And Greg's just a good old boy. He's a great leader. He wears his heart on his sleeve. I just appreciate you for bringing Selling from the Heart to your team. Thank you.
Absolutely. Hats off to you, Greg. Well, today's guest truly embodies what it means to lead and sell from the heart. Jeff Hancher is a USA Today bestselling author, an executive coach, veteran, and founder of Jeff Hancher Enterprises. After 24 years of leading teams inside Fortune 500 organizations and launching entrepreneurial ventures, Jeff brings a refreshing, no-nonsense approach to leadership and sales. Known for his firm feedback with heart, Jeff is on a mission to help executives and sales professionals communicate with clarity, compassion, and courage. He believes that high-trust teams are built by holding people accountable, never at the expense of relationships, but always in service of growth and results. If you're ready for an honest conversation about what it means to lead and sell with integrity, empathy, and purpose, you're in the right place. We've got Jeff Hancher in the studio today. Welcome, Jeff. It's great to have you here.
Darrell and Larry, man, it is a pleasure to be on this show. I have been taking in content from you all, love what you're putting out, and here I am. I'm now a part of it. So thank you, and thanks to the listeners.
This is going to be good. Hey, I know we're ready for some firm feedback, Jeff.
That's right. It's going to be
good.
Can't
handle the truth, Larry.
Well, one of the main truths we want to hear at the beginning is this question we ask every guest in the Sell from the Heart podcast, as you know, Jeff. The question is, what does it mean to you to sell from the heart?
Man, thank you for that question. I am ready for this question because my son is embarking on his sales career as a financial advisor. And I was telling him a story that I think is fitting for this question. And this is going to be for that sales rep that's embarking maybe on year one. You work harder and make less money than you're ever going to again in that year, right? It seems like a grind. Do I know what I'm doing? So I get my big break in sales and man, I'm excited. I'm on the car plan. I got an expense credit card. Life is good. And I was at a daycare as a prospect. They wanted an air freshener service that we had. And I'm about 10 minutes into the call thinking things are going well. And the prospect says to me, "How long have you been doing this?" And I said, "About 3 months." And she said, "And I can tell," and showed me to the door.
Ouch.
And
Ouch.
You want to talk about a kick in the shin. And as I reflected back, you can always learn from your mistakes. What I was not doing was selling from the heart. What I failed to do was uncover a buying motive and a business objective. What I did do was took all the effort that I put into product knowledge. I could tell you everything about a floor mat. I could tell you everything about our air freshener program. And I was doing the proverbial show up and throw up. What I wasn't doing was tying my product and service back to what mattered most to them. And I was wowing them with some product knowledge, but I did not even ask the appropriate questions. What I believe selling from the heart is putting yourself in an empathetic position in a prospect's shoes, understanding that every buying influence carries with it a different reason to move forward. And when we do that, we can not only add value, but my goodness sake, is it great for commissions. It's a true win-win. And that's my definition, I believe, of selling from the heart.
Oh, this is so good. What a wonderful story, because I think we've all been there. I'll hold up my hand and say I was probably guilty of that as well. So I want to go back to, the last part of what you just shared as relates to selling from the heart. If we look in this world today and we define it here in this post-trust world, why is what you just said so mission critical today?
Well, I think we get running fast, right? There's a lot of pressure to perform, especially with that lower tenured person. They're just all excited. They're just trying to get their information out. We think that we can wow people with product knowledge alone, but it's just not true. And everything is moving fast, to your point, Larry, maybe faster than ever with the likes of AI and everything else. But one thing that we know about every great salesperson is there's a connection that has to be made. Nobody really cares. You think about the Cutco knife is a famous sales example, right? None of us woke up this morning and said, I'll tell you what I need. I need a new set of steak knives. Nobody ever said that, right? But what happens is they use referrals. They understand they do all of the things right, and they make connection. I think that's what's missing in the fast pace is that we put our sales reps into these rooms and we teach them our six-step sales process. And we get that ingrained in them, which I'm here for it. I am here for it. But what happens when we get moving too fast is we go through the motions. And I'll tell you where I see this most is in prospecting, especially if you're listening and you are one of the people that still believe in outbound phone calls. We can get so repetition in the sake of meeting 20 outbound dials per hour that we lose sight of tone. We lose sight of empathy. We lose sight of our pitch, our enthusiasm. We can lose sight of that quick because of trying to hit the number and the fast paces that we're in. We have to slow down and understand that although sales is a number game, sometimes less is more. Sometimes putting more time into pre-call planning than delivering your pitch is where we need to spend our time.
Well, folks, that's some firm feedback right there. And by the way, congratulations on the new book, Firm Feedback in a Fragile World. What an incredible, timely book, Firm Feedback in a Fragile World. Talk to us about this fragile world we live in right now. This is, I think you're onto something.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm living in the generation that we're in now, and I'm sure I'm biased, but I will say as long as I've been around leadership, I believe this is one of the most challenging times to lead. And I don't mean just by leadership title, but I mean lead, period, by influence. I mean, we have the likes of quiet quitting costing the global economy upwards of $9 trillion. We got political distress, social distress. We're coming through the quote unquote great resignation. Attracting top talent is harder than it's ever been. Retaining top talent is harder than it's ever been. Then let's throw in the ingredient of we have more generations working in the workforce today than ever before that all are influenced by how they were brought up and raised. And leaders are leading through all of this. And we feel like most leaders, they feel unequipped to navigate the fragility that they're leading in right now. And oftentimes that leads to a lack of having the tough conversations that we know help people grow. And so it's almost this, you know what, let's act like we didn't see it turn the other way, because the last thing I need is to have a conversation with that peak performing sales rep that's made up 30% of my quota year to date, and make them mad and they end up quitting. And so let's just pull back a little bit. And that's what we're seeing. And quite frankly, leaders aren't being taught a framework of how to navigate this as not a place of dread, but literally as a gift that we can give people to help them reach their potential.
Oh, I like this. And as we start taking a look at this, and I want to use the word you said, framework. So coach us along the way. You know, there's leaders. So let's just call this leaders of different generations and all that. How can you coach them to have some of these tough conversations, albeit the necessary conversations? What kind of framework do you use? I'm curious, Jeff.
Yeah, it's a simple, not easy framework. The simple framework is that, that's the good news, bad news, right? It's expectations, feedback, and accountability. That is the framework. If I were to boil it down into a mission statement, I would say earning the right to firm feedback is making the deposits. It's making the deposits. If I were to ask either one of you or anybody listening to think of your Mount Rushmore of leaders, these are 4 people that you would say, if it was not for them, I would not be who I am today. And you can think of those 4 rather quickly. And I were to ask you the question, were those 4 people tough on you? The answer is always yes. And if I followed that up and say, but did they care? You would say, oh my, yeah, they sure did. You know, this is what our Mount Rushmore of leadership did for us. This is what we need to do for other people. You know, you have the passive leader that says, I'll tell you the keys to somebody's heart. It's sheet cake and cotton candy and pony rides every Friday. People love that. The aggressive leader says, no, I'll tell you how to do it. When people step over the boundary, you get your stick out and you hit them. And boy, they will fall right back into line. And what I'll tell you is somewhere in the middle of that is the lead. Here's how I would say it. The goal is not to be a boss people report to. The goal is to be a leader that people don't want to let down. If you look up onto that mountain, to that Mount Rushmore, those 4 people you put up there, these were 4 people you didn't want to let down. This is the difference between compliance and engagement. The framework is simple, but not easy. You know, expectations, feedback, accountability. There's a lot that goes into this. And by the way, it is in that order. And when we start to get that right, now we can earn the right to have the tough conversations we need to transform people.
All right, so let's unpack that. We have so many sales leaders listening in on this show. We have a lot of, obviously, people that report to sales leaders and many that aspire to be leaders of sales organizations. So let's look at this first part of the framework on expectations. What does that look like in the context of a sales team?
Well, specifically to sales, which is where I spent most of my career, the first thing that we have to uncover is, are the expectations reasonable and fair? A lot of times, especially sales leadership, they're giving expectations based off what the team or the company needs, not what's realistic. And look, I'm here for a good 4-minute mile run. I love that. That would be epic, right? But sometimes we're asking people to run a 4-minute mile that have titanium knees and hips, and they're showing up to the starting line in steel-toed boots and Carhartt bibs. Like, we're not equipping people to, one, they've never ran a 4-minute mile. They're not equipped to run a 4-minute mile. And we haven't trained them adequately to do so. And so the first thing is the expectation has to be clear and reasonable. We have to make sure that the people that are reporting to us, they know why the expectation is good for them. So clear and reasonable, why it's good for them, not the company. This is the old Simon Sinek, people will work for their what, but they'll die for their why. Do we know? Do we know? I mean, the simplest form that we all know is the speed limit sign. In its essence, a speed limit sign is an expectation, but you don't see one when you get on the interstate. Every couple miles you go, you see the same thing over and over again, right? We can't tell our 3-year-old how to brush their teeth and never tell them again. It doesn't work that way. We have to keep telling them. And so we have to make sure the expectation is clear. And as simple as that sounds, guys, we're not seeing this. Most times an employee is going to get very clear expectations during onboarding, and it kind of fizzles out over time. Next thing you know, we're coming with accountability, and the expectation has been lost. And so in sales, we have to make sure that that is very clearly, crystal clear what the expectations are. When that happens, then we start baking in feedback, which I believe should come at a high frequency. I believe that one-on-one debriefs is critical in any leadership, but I would say even more so in sales leadership. This is me and you, one-on-one, every week, every 2 weeks, whatever it is. Are we going to cover sales funnel? Absolutely. Are we going to cover your monthly quota? Absolutely. Are we going to uncover what you need to advance your prospecting efforts? Absolutely. Are we also going to talk about your SMART goals and your IDP? Yes, because I'm not here just to chase results. I'm here to help you reach your potential. That happens with feedback. When those two are set, we know human nature is people are going to fall back. This is where the accountability comes in. And we can literally create a space when we have a tough conversation, people thank us for it.
Oh boy, I really, 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 really like this. And I'm sitting here listening to what you're saying. And I want everyone to listen to what Jeff was saying, because he delivered that with a word that's near and dear to me: confidence. And as a leader, you owe it to the people that report to you to deliver this in a very confident, clear, concise manner. But it leads to something I think that's woven inside of this, and that's getting mutual agreement on all of this.
That's right. That's right. Absolutely critical. And when you deliver this, it can literally be life-changing. But when you get mutual agreement, let's talk worst case scenario. You don't get mutual agreement. That's still a gift, because at least we can disagree, but the expectation is clear. Like, I'm here to tell you, there's places that I live that the speed limit is 55, and I think it's insane. Like, there's no reason that it's not 70. No reason. But really, I didn't have a seat at the table. So the expectation is what it is. But when this is set, and now we know why it's good for one another, then accountability comes easy. And I'll give you a quick role play that everybody will probably remember for years to come. Me, Larry, and Darrell, we're going to this trade show in Nashville in 2 weeks. And this is our planning meeting. And I'm leading the team. And I just say, guys, I think we have a good plan. We got a great elevator pitch for when people come by the booth. We're going to get a lot of business cards and some great prospecting opportunity. I think we're going to look the part. But I'd say, Darrell, if we're walking into the trade show and I would maybe smell, some bad breath from you, would you want me to let you know before we got to the booth?
Absolutely.
All right. See, Darrell's a good sport, and his breath is minty fresh, by the way. But I would say, Darrell, fantastic. I think that's reasonable, and you can count on me. If that happens, I got your back. So 2 weeks from now, we're walking in, and lo and behold, I smell it, and I pull a mint from my pocket, and I hand it to Darrell. And as I'm handing it to him, I say, Darrell, you remember a couple weeks ago, you mentioned how important your image was going to be at this trade show. And you said, if I saw anything, a couple Starbucks later, I can smell it. Here's a mint. And I hand you the mint, Darrell. What are the first words out of your mouth to me?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Now check this out. Darrell and I, we're in line at a convenience store paying for our gas or getting a coffee or a Snickers bar. And I've never met Darrell before, but I smell the same smell. And I turn around in line and I look at Darrell for the first time ever. And I say, sir, your breath really stinks. Darrell's offended. He might even want to pop me in the nose. But you know what? I'm right. I'm right. Leader, can I say something? The goal is not to be right. The goal has never been to be right. The goal is always to be effective. The data in both scenarios is exactly the same. In one scenario, I earned the right to say it. In the other, I didn't. To Larry's earlier point, we get moving so fast. Leaders are moving so fast, chasing numbers, chasing your attention, chasing the next sales meeting, that we lose sight of the fact that we're not making deposits, but what we know for a fact is the tough conversation is coming. Have I earned the right? When I gave Darrell that mint, he said, thank you. When I turned around in that line with the same information, Darrell was offended. It's the same information. Leaders, we're doing this every single day. We're offending employees, and we don't mean to. If we take this framework, we can literally help people reach their fullest potential, and the hard conversations will be returned with. Thank you. Aren't you grateful for the Mount Rushmore 4?
Duh.
Yeah.
Aren't you grateful? Where would you be? And they were probably the toughest of anybody on you.
Yep.
And we're so grateful. We can do this. We can do this through this framework.
So here's what I want to do. I want to flip the tables on this. Firm foundations in a fragile world. I want to flip the table to a sales interaction between a sales professional and a prospect or customer and talk about fragile, right? So it's not, it's not even an employee. At least, there's a paycheck involved and all of that. When it comes to a prospect or customer, there's that is the ultimate fragile, right? Because they can say, nah, we're going to do something else and move on. And it's really easy to do most of the time. So as sales professionals, how do we earn the right to have these firm conversations and give this firm feedback in a sales situation that is an extremely fragile environment?
Man, I love this one, Darrell.
All right.
This one. I'm going to paint a scenario that everybody that's been in sales any length of time has. I'm gonna serve you right here. Here's the scenario. We go into a prospect. They're currently served by a competitor, right? And we don't know this, but here's the picture that's being painted. I'm meeting with Larry. And Larry is the person that made the decision on the current vendor, which is my competitor. And my job as the salesperson is to go in and hopefully find all kinds of problems with the current program. I got to be so careful here, though, because if Larry was the one that made the decision on this vendor, every time I find a problem with this vendor, I'm basically telling Larry he made a really bad decision. And what decision maker, what buying influence wants to hear for the next 60 minutes that I don't know how to make good decisions in vendors? And so that's a fragile environment. First off, you better uncover, how did you come about selecting your current vendor? That's when Larry's going to say, I did. Okay, good to know. Now I have to get to a place in discovery because I know I got to attempt to find pain. It might not be there, but I got a canvas for it. But when I do find it, how am I going to deliver that in a way that I'm not making Larry feel like he just made poor decisions? By the way, salespeople, you might be right, but are you being effective? And so what I have to do at some point is say, Larry, we're going to take a walk around your facility. I'm going to take a look at your current vendor's program. It's rare that I find that it goes perfectly. As we're walking around your facility, if I were to see anything that's deficient, or I maybe could give you advice in making your current program better, is that something that you would want me to let you know? Now, it doesn't really change what's about to happen, but what I'm doing with my buying influence, especially if you have that principal buyer in front of you, has a little bit of an ego, a little bit of driver type. Now, at least what I have is I have agreement. That's not a license to just unload on Larry. Like, Larry, what were you thinking bringing these people in? The program's a mess, right? But now I can be tactful in delivering some not so easy to hear news. What we're doing here is we're setting an expectation. And the second that we start walking around the facility, I become consultant. I become advocate because this is what you asked me to do. Now I can present that by way of empathy. And I would say something to Larry. As soon as I saw the first deficiency, I would say, Larry, you're so busy making widgets. By the way, you're an industry leader in widget making. But what you're not an expert in, I hope, is the products and services that I provide. You shouldn't be needing to pay attention to this. But when we were back in your office, you asked me to show you if I saw anything that needed improvement or a deficiency. and I want to show you this. Now what I'm doing is I'm giving Larry a gift and I'm allowing him to be wrong. I'm allowing him to be wrong. If I don't create that space in that fragile environment as a salesperson, which is the same framework that we're talking about in the book, then what I have is a salesperson that is right and a buying influence that is angry. You can leave there without closing the sale and be justified in your rightness. Good luck.
Oh man, this is what a way to put a bow on a really great time together. But I just have to just share this because I'm sitting there listening. I'm like going, firm feedback, fragile world, all has to do with messaging, how you connect, phraseology, all of this, which requires intentionality and practice. But this is powerful stuff, Darrell.
It is. It is. I love it, Jeff. And as we wrap up, I know all of our listeners are thinking, how do I get more Jeff Hancher in my life? So would it be okay if I see an opportunity to get Jeff in my life, if I brought that up, which I'm going to do right now in the podcast?
Oh,
I thought you would never ask, Darrell. Hey, I am so easy to find. It's Jeff Hancher, like Jolly Rancher, but it's with an H. You put that in any search, I'm going to pop up. Listen, we didn't write this book so that you could check a box that you read another book. We have content there at the end of every chapter to challenge you, to help offer retention. And look, I'm not out here just trying to sell books. We have a leadership podcast. We'd love to have you be a part of that. However we can serve. It's Jeff Hancher. There's a website. I'm on the socials. I'm even on TikTok, guys, kicking and screaming. There I am. But we are out there, and I am passionate about this because these conversations we're having today, guys, I'm a product of this. You know, I came from very humble beginnings, and I had some leaders that went above and beyond helping me be good in business.
Yeah.
You know, people that helped me learn how to tie a tie and what a collar stay was, and, you know, help me have a level of success. I'm an unlikely candidate for success. And so now I'm going to spend the rest of my life equipping leaders to help others reach their potential. And I hope that the listener gets some value in that in the book as well.
I love it.
I think they will. They will.
Super awesome. Jeff, what a pleasure hanging out today. We really appreciate you sharing your heart with us.
Grateful for you guys as well. Thanks for everybody that's listening in.
I love
pleasure.
it.
Oh,
Larry,
Darrell.
firm feedback in a fragile world. So many things there that are applicable to our friends in leadership. And man, that stuff at the end was just pure dynamite for all of our friends in sales.
You know what? It's I got to take everyone back just to kind of put a bow on everything. Jeff, you'll appreciate this. I remember this goes back decades and decades ago. I was in a leadership workshop for a couple of days and so forth. And I remember this chair moment because the guy who delivered it would always stand on a chair. And he'd say, as a leader, you have to learn how to do this. And what he was sharing was this. You got to learn how to create iron fist, velvet glove moments. Iron fist, velvet glove. It's the same thing. Is you got to be able to deliver firm feedback in a fragile world, but do it in a very loving, caring way.
I love it. And the earning the right and the way to go about doing that, super, super practical. Well, hey, I want to say a huge thank you to everybody in the Selling from the Heart community, which is a growing community of sales professionals just like you who say, yeah, I believe in being genuine. I believe in authenticity. I want to build trust. You're a part of Selling from the Heart. So here's our ask of you. Would you help us spread the word? How do you do that? Well, it's actually really easy. You tell people about the podcast, you share it on social, and many of you have left reviews on the platform on which you listen. And all of that helps us spread this movement of authenticity and trust right here in this profession we all love.
Yeah, and I just want to let you know this. We appreciate you. Darrell and I are deeply committed to bringing this movement we call Selling from the Heart to the forefront. But it happens with all of us working together, rowing this boat all in the right direction.
That's right. So thanks for joining us this week. Until next time, keep being genuine, keep being authentic, keep building trust, earn the right to give firm feedback, and most of all,
Sell from the heart.